I should have known the moment I walked into the Ashford Estates that this weekend was going to destroy me. My name is Lily Morgan. I'm 29 years old and I'm standing in the corner of my younger sister's wedding reception, wearing a dress from a thrift store, watching 300 people celebrate a life I'll never have. The venue is stunning. Stone walls, crystal chandeliers, a terrace overlooking the Pacific Ocean, the kind of place that costs more for one night than I make in 6 months. My sister, Madison, looks like a princess. Her dress probably cost $30,000. Her husband, Connor, comes from tech money. His family owns half of Silicon Valley. And me? I'm the family embarrassment. I drove here in a 12-year-old Toyota. I'm staying in a motel 20 minutes away because I couldn't afford the room block rate. And I'm drinking water because the bar has a $20 minimum I can't justify. My mother found me 5 minutes ago. "Lily, why are you hiding in the corner?" "I'm not hiding, Mom. I'm just taking it all in." She looked me up and down. Her eyes stopped at my dress. "Where did you get that?" "A consignment shop." She closed her eyes, like I'd embarrassed her just by existing. "You couldn't have found something nicer?" "This was nice. It looks like something from 2015. It's from 2018, actually." She sighed. The same sigh I've heard my entire life. The one that says, "Why can't you be more like your sister?" Try to blend in. Madison's friends are here, Connor's family, people who matter. People who matter. I'm her daughter, and I don't matter? She walked away before I could respond. Dinner was served. I was seated at table 17, the overflow table, with second cousins I'd never met, and my aunt's third husband. Madison was at table 1 with Connor, their parents, the bridal party. I watched from across the room as they laughed, clinked glasses, took photos, and then the speeches started. The best man went first. Funny, charming, everyone loved it. Then the maid of honor stood up. Her name is Ashley, Madison's college roommate. She's exactly the kind of person my mother wishes I was. Successful, polished, married to someone important. Ashley tapped her glass. The room went quiet. I've known Madison for 10 years, and in that time, I've watched her become an incredible woman. Beautiful, intelligent, driven. She paused, smiled at Madison. But let's be honest, she didn't get here alone. Everyone nodded, murmured agreement. Madison has always been surrounded by people who believed in her. Her parents, Connor, her friends. Ashley's eyes scanned the room, and then they landed on me. And even her sister, Lily. The way she said my name made my stomach drop. "Lily's here tonight, somewhere. I think she's at table 17? A few people turned to look. I felt my face flush. Lily's had a different journey. She left the family business years ago to find herself, which is very brave, very noble. She said it like it was a joke. She's been doing various things, working odd jobs, traveling, living simply, and we all admire that, really. It takes a lot of courage to choose a life of minimalism. People laughed, not loudly, but enough. So let's raise a glass to Madison, who chose ambition over simplicity, who chose success over whatever Lily's doing. The room erupted in laughter and applause. I sat there, frozen, humiliated. Madison looked uncomfortable, but she didn't say anything. My mother was smiling, and Ashley sat down, looking proud of herself. I stood up, quietly, grabbed my purse, and I walked out. Nobody noticed, or maybe they did and they just didn't care. I made it to the parking lot before I started crying. I sat in my old Toyota, hands shaking, and I let myself feel it. The shame, the anger, the exhaustion of being invisible, and I almost left, almost drove back to the motel and never came back, but something stopped me, because they had no idea who I really was. 5 years ago, I walked away from the Morgan family real estate business. My father built it from nothing, started with one property in the 80s, By the time he retired, he owned commercial buildings across California. He wanted me to take over, said I had the mind for it, the instincts. But I didn't want it. I wanted to build something on my own, not inherit it, not live in his shadow. So I left. My family thought I was insane. My mother cried, said I was throwing away my future. Madison was thrilled. She stepped into the role I'd rejected, became my father's protégé, and I moved to a tiny apartment in Oakland and started from scratch. I worked as a property manager, learned the business from the ground up, made connections, saved every dollar. And 3 years ago, I found an opportunity, the Ashford Estates. It was beautiful, historic, but it was failing. The previous owner had mismanaged it. It was drowning in debt. I saw potential. I put together a proposal, found investors, made an offer, and I bought it. Not as Lily Morgan, but through an LLC, a quiet acquisition. No press, no family announcement. I restructured, renovated, hired new staff, and within 2 years, the Ashford Estates became one of the most sought-after wedding venues on the West Coast. My family didn't know. Nobody did. I kept it quiet, because I didn't need their validation. I just needed to prove to myself that I could do it. But tonight, standing in the parking lot, I wondered if it was worth it, if being successful in secret was the same as being invisible. I dried my tears, fixed my makeup, and I walked back inside, because I wasn't done yet. I slipped back into the reception, took my seat at table 17. The dancing had started. Madison and Connor were on the floor. Everyone was watching, smiling, taking photos. I sat there, alone, watching my sister live the life everyone expected her to have. And I felt nothing. Not jealousy, not anger, just tired. My mother appeared beside me. "Where did you go?" "I needed air." "Well, you missed the cake cutting." "I'm sure it was beautiful." She looked at me. Really looked. "Are you okay?" I almost laughed. "Do you actually care?" "Lily, you let Ashley humiliate me in front of everyone. You smiled." She wasn't joking. She wasn't joking, and you know it. My mother's face hardened. "You're being dramatic. Ashley was just having fun. You're too sensitive." "I'm too sensitive? Mom, you've spent my entire life making me feel like I'm not good enough, like I'm the disappointment." "That's not true." "It is true, and tonight just proved it." I stood up. "I'm leaving." "Lily, don't make a scene." "I'm not making a scene. I'm leaving, quietly, like I always do." I turned to walk away, and that's when the room went quiet. The music stopped, people turned toward the entrance. A man in a suit was walking across the floor. He looked official, serious. I recognized him immediately. Daniel Hayes, the general manager of Ashford Estates. What was he doing here? Madison looked confused. Connor stood up. Daniel walked straight to the center of the room. He looked at Madison, then at the guests. "I apologize for the interruption, but there's been a situation that requires immediate attention." Madison's face went pale. "What kind of situation?" "A payment issue. The final balance for the venue hasn't been settled." Connor stepped forward. "That's impossible. We paid everything." "Not according to our records. There's an outstanding balance of $42,000. The room gasped. My mother's voice cut through the noise. "This is ridiculous. We paid in full." Daniel looked at her calmly. "I'm afraid not, and according to our contract, if the balance isn't settled tonight, we reserve the right to end the event." Madison looked like she might faint. "You can't be serious." "I'm very serious." Connor pulled out his phone. "I'll call my accountant right now." "Unfortunately, it's 10 p.m. on a Saturday. There's nothing they can do tonight." My mother stepped forward. "Then we'll pay it now. How much do we owe?" $42,000. "Fine, we'll write a check." The contract specifies payment in full, certified funds only. The room was silent. Everyone staring, phones out, recording. Madison's perfect wedding was collapsing in real time. I stood up. Daniel's eyes found mine across the room, and he smiled, just slightly. "Actually," he said, "there's been a misunderstanding." Everyone turned to look at him. "The balance has been paid, just moments ago, by the owner." Madison blinked. "The owner?"
Yes. The owner of Ashford Estates happened to be in attendance tonight, and upon hearing about the payment issue, they've graciously covered the remaining balance. My mother looked confused. "Who's the owner?" Daniel turned, looked directly at me. "Miss Morgan, would you like to explain?" The room went silent. Every eye in the place turned to me. I walked slowly toward the center of the floor, heart pounding, hands steady. I stopped in front of Madison, in front of my mother, in front of Ashley. "I'm the owner," I said quietly. Madison's face went white. "What?" "I own Ashford Estates, have for 3 years." My mother's mouth opened, closed. Ashley looked like she'd seen a ghost. "You're joking," Madison whispered. "I'm not. I bought this place, renovated it, built it into what it is now." "But how?" "I saved, I invested, I worked, quietly, without telling anyone." My mother found her voice. "Why didn't you tell us?" "Because I didn't need you to know. I built this for myself, not for your approval." I looked at Ashley. "And for the record, I'm not doing various things. I'm running a multi-million-dollar business, successfully." She looked down. I turned back to Madison. "Your wedding is beautiful, truly, and I'm glad I could host it. But I didn't do it for you. I did it because this is my venue, my work, my life." I looked at Daniel. "Make sure the rest of the evening goes smoothly." "Of course, Miss Morgan." I turned to leave. "Lily, wait!" My mother started, but I didn't stop. I walked out of that ballroom, through the lobby, into the cool night air, and I didn't look back. I sat on the stone wall overlooking the ocean, the same view I'd fallen in love with 3 years ago, the same view that made me believe I could turn this place into something beautiful. Behind me, I could hear the music resume, the wedding continuing. They'd recover. They always did. But something had shifted. I wasn't invisible anymore. My phone buzzed, a text from Madison. "Can we talk?" I stared at it, thought about replying, but I didn't, because I didn't owe her an explanation, or forgiveness, or anything. I'd spent my entire life trying to prove I was good enough, and tonight I realized something. I'd already proven it. To the only person who mattered, myself. People ask me now if I regret keeping my success a secret. I don't, because the moment they knew, everything changed. Not because they respected my work, but because they couldn't ignore me anymore. And that was enough. My name is Lily Morgan. I'm 29 years old, and I own the venue where my sister had her perfect wedding. They mocked me for being simple, for being unsuccessful, for being invisible. But I wasn't any of those things. I was just quiet. And quiet doesn't mean weak. It just means I didn't need applause to know I'd already won.